ever since I was a kid, I was a victim of cringe culture. What do I mean by this? Well, ever since I was a kid, I was always made fun of for my interests. I was the kid who was into Sonic and Mario and like Pokemon and just stuff that wasn't like typically accepted. I was really big in playing Minecraft. I was like obsessed with playing Minecraft. And I remember when I was in middle school, I got bullied for liking Minecraft, which I know sounds fucking crazy now, but in 2018, everyone thought they were so grown up by not playing Minecraft. They were like, hey, like Roblox, it's Too Mad likes Roblox, and now Too Mad's a dead pedophile. So it's like, maybe you shouldn't just listen to random ass motherfuckers on the internet who just bully people for clout. Maybe you shouldn't, because oftentimes you grow up and you're like, that guy was just a piece of shit. Why the fuck did I care what he thought? And that's the one thing that I will always, always, always say. Cringe culture is fucking cringe. I mean, think about it. The whole premise of cringe culture is just some motherfucker who finds random videos of strangers on the internet, compiles them into one video, and usually does nothing but just sit there watching, then pause occasionally to make some sort of unoriginal, uninspired comment that Leafy probably said 2 years ago. And it always is so funny how these cringe commentary channels will be like, oh, this is so cringe, this is so bad, I'm suffering, this is so painful to watch. And it's like, you chose to watch it, motherfucker. That's what your whole channel is about. Watching things you consider cringe. If you can't handle watching cringe, don't make your whole channel about that, It's like, for example, I hate coleslaw. I'm not a fan of coleslaw. So if I was not a fan, I'm not a fan of coleslaw. And that's why my channel is not a coleslaw review channel, because I don't like coleslaw, And just in the same way, I don't like coleslaw, so I don't make content about coleslaw. If you don't like bronies or furries or weebs or cosplayers or whatever other fucking group is out there, don't make videos about them. It's that fucking easy. But apparently, apparently I'm just so dumb compared to these 20-year-olds or 30, sometimes even 50-year-olds who peaked in high school, who are just doing this shit. And somehow they have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but every single one of them, no matter how big they get, after like 2 years, I'll look at their viewership and their latest videos will all be like 20K, 30K, 5K, 10K. It's like, it's very obvious to see why this kind of content doesn't flourish, because cringe content is very much existent as like a trend hopping thing. Like, there's gonna be that one big cringe commentary YouTuber that everyone just jumps to, like it started off with Leafy, and then it went to like the 2019 things, and then went to like your fucking like sensitive societies or whatever, and then I went to your fucking Cheetos, and then I went to your fucking Sneakos, and like that kind of shit. And it constantly makes me wonder too, like, if all these channels just grow only to die, then what's the fucking point in them still existing over a decade later? Because I've been seeing cringe commentary channels ever since, like, I've been hearing about these fuckers and this kind of content ever since I was in elementary school. So, like a decade now. And they still fucking exist in some way, shape, or form. And the reason why I'm surprised by this is because unlike any other genre of, like, content, like, like computers or video games or how-tos or music reviews or anything like that, there's always new music, there's always new movies, there's always new shows, there's always new animation, there's always new things. But with cringe compilation, it's oftentimes the same few groups that people will put into these cringe comps, and it gets old really quick, because a lot of the times too, cringe compilations aren't honest people. I think that's kind of obvious. Anyone who bullies people for money is not going to be honest, but it's even worse because a lot of like cringe commentary channels, especially the ones who do it on queer people or like anyone queer, they typically end up having a very like, they'll try and like paint the worst image. And I think the biggest example has to be with Dylan Mulvaney. Now, regardless of if you enjoy her content or not, I'll say it right now, her personality, she's very animated, she's very out there, And obviously, when I watch her videos, sometimes, it's a bit much for me at times, but honestly, I'd rather have her be herself and be a little much rather than just being a depressed husk just because some people think she's annoying from time to time. It's like, I'd rather have her be excited and animated and cringe a little bit, because that means she has personality. You know? Like, that's a thing I notice. She's living her best life, transitioning, doing something that she's wanted to do for a while now, and she's happy about it, and she's showing her journey to the world. And then you got these just absolutely bitter, lonely fucks who are just making these videos like calling her a creep or a pedophile or a child groomer and stuff like that. It's like, how are you so fucking negative? You have to see someone living their life and you're like, oh, they're a pedophile, when they aren't even like doing anything like that to kids. Like, you got motherfuckers like P. Diddy and Jay-Z that are out there, and you're focusing on a trans woman living her life. It's quite pathetic. And that's why cringe culture in general is just fucking stupid, because it's literally just white boys who peaked in high school who complain about the kids that are actually themselves, complaining about those who actually have personality, because God forbid someone isn't just a shallow conformist husk. God forbid someone has more interests than anything typically accepted. God forbid someone actually has something more to them. God forbid someone has piercings. Oh no, piercings. That's another thing about cringe compilation channels that's funny. They will, a lot of them, especially the more political ones, will be like, I'm against PC culture and the wokes, and I don't get offended. I'm offensive. Facts don't care about your feelings. And then the moment you show up with some dyed hair or some piercings, then they just get all fucking pissy and they're like, oh my god, you look so ugly. People are just uglifying themselves. Maybe we just think piercings are cool. Maybe there's different preferences in looks. If you like being a boring ass motherfucker, go do it, Like, and I know there's gonna be someone who's like, oh, you're a hypocrite because you're calling me boring. Well, gee, maybe you shouldn't have used the same unoriginal "you look like a bull" comment, and I wouldn't have said that. It's kind of funny how people will always dish it. Dish. But anytime these motherfuckers have to take something, they act like it's their first time, They're like, how dare you say that to me? I'm like, no, that's not how it is, Like, they pretend like they aren't offended, but it's very clear they are, And it's funny because they'll try to make fun of you for making fun of them for being offended, but it doesn't work because you can easily see through them, And it really does go to show that cringe commentary channels aren't really like meant to last forever. They're a lot of the follies, a lot of the things that make cringe compilation channels fail is due to the fact that after a while you realize, hey, someone who just makes content making fun of people like every single day of their life is not a fun person to watch or hang around. It's not someone who's fun to watch. It's not someone who's good to watch. It's not content that's good for anyone's well-being, whether it's you, the viewer, or the person making it. Because yes, I will say right now, this stuff doesn't even hurt the creators, because the creators often are so afraid of being cringe that they lose themselves too, Like, they have to hide parts of their personality because they're so scared of being perceived as cringe by their audience that they're teaching what to see as cringe, It's kind of fucking ironic too. Like, if you don't want your audience to view you as cringe or weird, then maybe you shouldn't be making your whole presence about calling people with different hobbies and interests and identities cringe, It's interesting because I've had times where I'll get made fun of for being a metalhead or a furry or a Therian because, despite the fact that I don't like wear a Therian mask or anything, yes, I am a cat Therian. It's something that I don't always say, and there's some who are like, oh, I didn't know you were that, but yeah, actually I should make a video about it because I find it quite interesting, because the first time I actually I should make a video about it, but obviously that's for another time, but there's so many channels that will judge anyone for having these identities or being a part of a fandom or anything like that, and then you look at their lives and it's just them making fun of people for clout, and you look at their interests and you're like, okay, what things do you like? And they're like, making fun of people. It's like, oh, so you're just a bully. Like, that's not a hobby. Bullying is not a hobby. You know, I find it so funny that these cringe compilation channels will be like, get a real job, get a real thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure bullying people on the internet is not a real job, you know? And you should get a hobby. Like, you know, like that's something that I feel like if everyone just did. If you got a hobby, you'd be way more interesting. You know, imagine if instead of making fun of people, Leafy spent his time like doing Let's Plays. Imagine how much better the world would be. Like, imagine that. Like, imagine instead of him calling people slurs over gameplay, he actually played the game and gave interesting commentary and, you know, made jokes and brought joy to people. You know, I feel like if that was the world we lived in, things would not be as shit. But the internet is a constant cesspool where toxicity seems to easily rise to the surface. You know, it's very much like a roofie drink. That's what the internet is like, you know? You know, space, it's fine, but then when something toxic gets put in, it spreads to the whole rest of the internet and it fucks it up. And anyone who takes a sip of it ends up fucking themselves up because of it. And that's why I think that if we really want to, that's why I think if anyone wants to improve themselves, they gotta stop focusing on making fun of others and just living their own lives. Because here's the thing, I might not have interest in certain things, I might not get like certain subcultures or fandoms or whatever, but at the end of the day, if they're not hurting anyone and they're not being mean and they're just living their lives and they're enjoying what they're enjoying, why should I fucking care? You know, even if it is something that's weird or odd, it's like, that's not a crime. That's not a bad thing. Being weird or odd or, you know, different or eccentric, those are not bad things. They're not common things, but just because something isn't common doesn't make it bad, you know? And that's why whenever I see cringe compilation channels, it makes me feel so goddamn sad. Not only for them, but the people who watch them, their viewers. Because anyone who watches this kind of stuff, it's very obvious they either have something going on where they think they have to either watch this to make fun of themselves or others. And you know, it's just content that no one in the right state of mind watches. You know, for how much cringe compilation channels will call people mentally ill or mentally deranged or anything like that, I'll say it right now, no one with a healthy state of mind is going to watch people make fun of someone. That's not a thing anyone, like, with a good self-esteem or a good mood or any sort of, like, well, you know, a good self-esteem is going to interest themselves in. Because really, what are you getting? Like, either you're watching that kind of stuff to, you know, watch someone make fun of a group you're a part of, so it's like a form of digital self-harm, or it's like you're watching them because you feel the same way as whoever's making that content. And both of them are quite pathetic because you shouldn't be flagellizing yourself over just being different. And you shouldn't be getting enjoyment out of making fun of someone just for being different. Because at the end of the day, those who are weird or odd or whatever, they're going to be living their best lives. They're enjoying what they're enjoying and they're able to do what they want. And it's quite sad because I've seen cringe compilation channels who have turned people with, you know, individuals with great, like, passion and uniqueness and creativity into sad, depressed husks of themselves who sometimes even take their own lives because of this harassment. And I'm fucking tired of seeing all this creativity and this uniqueness and all this stuff literally be killed, taken away from us, just because some asshole on the internet wants a few bucks and a laugh. I'm fucking tired of it. I'm fucking tired of seeing people be bullied to their graves just for someone's clout. I'm fucking sick of it, you know? And that's why cringe compilation channels aren't just cringe, they're dangerous. And I will fully be of that belief till the day I die. Because cringe compilation channels are just acceptable bullying. That's what they always will be, and nothing will ever change that. I don't care if you actually enjoy these videos or what the fuck ever, because that's what it is. It's cyberbullying. And as much as no one wants to say that, because, oh, cyberbullying is a cringe, but no, that's what it is. It's bullying done on the internet. Cyberbullying. That's literally what it is. And nothing will ever change that fact.